Welcome to Iconic Talk.
Thanks.
Winchester's number fun podcast.
Oh, you're not welcoming me. You're welcoming them.
I'm welcoming you too. Community conversation, fun, clowning. Spotlight is here once again. Welcome aboard, everyone.
Thank
once
you.
again, Icon Media Studios, Miss Rachel Racy. Give you a hand clap. How are you? Slow clap.
Doing okay.
Are you having fun in the summer? We keep talking about weather, I know, but there's the doom and gloom of winter, but now there's the heat and exhaustion of summer. How have your last few weeks been? There's been storms.
There's been some really great storms. We sat on the back porch. Gosh, what night was that last week? It just poured and poured and poured. I was so thankful for that.
It's like rain.
Yes.
People are praying for rain.
Yes. It's been so hot and so dry. Doing okay. Gearing up for
life.
some...
It's life's storms and life's things too. We'll talk a little bit about that here as we progress in the conversation. But, you know, I'm thinking about like our last episode and we talked about data centers. Mm-hmm. I just stumbled on a podcast that it's one of my more favorite podcasts. It's Freakonomics Radio and Stephen Dubner. And I don't know if you've heard of him or not.
No.
He's one of the more fascinating and interesting interviewers. Like, he's very smart, unlike me or
myself
or you. and it's something to aspire to from like a podcast level. And he talked to some people about the fascination of AI, which remember we talked about that last episode, and why data centers
are existing. The ditches on both sides with AI. Yeah. We talked about all that.
Yeah. And so it was so relevant because, and maybe I'll post a link to this show because it's a two-parter, and I only heard part one because part two is coming out later this week. And he had a guy from Google share how over the last several years they've been thinking about this issue of the need for data centers as AI grows, and then where do you put them, and what does that do for communities like ours?
Or two communities.
And remember I told you they were talking about putting data centers in space? The whole episode ended up turning up talking about that.
Okay.
Insane. And how they've been thinking about that, processing that, trying not to have clutter and nonsense in space, but how it'd be like 100 square miles of satellites linked together to create these things. And the data centers wouldn't be massive warehouses, but it would be more like space stars just flying through space. I mean, it was fascinating. So I'm not doing the conversation justice because, yes, these guys are like
clearly
crazy engineers and scientists going over my head as I'm listening. But it was just unique to think about that like, obviously our town is crying, hey, no data centers. We don't want to see it.
The signs are everywhere.
But just like we talked about, like, we don't really fully understand the purpose of these companies that are putting them out there and all the thought that goes behind it. But then they don't care about our community. No. So we're the ones that need to speak up.
Correct.
And say, go find other methods.
It's not personal to them.
Yeah, go find other methods and ways to do the things that you need to do to make our lives better, but at what cost? Anyway. That's a little follow-up. It was just fascinating, them driving down the road and choosing different podcasts to listen to. And
there you were.
That one popped right up. I'm like, I got to listen to this. Yeah. But anyway, talk about life's roller coasters. Topic of the day. It just kind of dawned on us that we're both in that age of kids getting older, right? Mm-hmm. And there's the phrase empty nest. Mm-hmm. What does empty nest mean to you?
I never, honestly, Mark, I might get a little serious here for a second. Raised my kids by myself pretty much. Single mom from 2012 until, well, essentially for all intents and purposes now. And my kids are moving out this weekend. They are going through a process that is very difficult for me to watch. Of
maybe kind of like how like us middle-aged people have midlife crises. I think some of these young adults have like their own young adult crisis.
I mean, I know that I went through a crisis of. I mean, I was probably the wild of the four McLaughlin kids, and as unwild as we are, I was the wildest. Okay,
yes,
I understand what happens when you turn 18, 19, 20. You start to feel this desperate need to have your own space. You're resentful to your mother because she's still your authority, but you really want her to pay your bills still. And like, there's this shift. And I don't remember how old I was when I first moved out. I had my first apartment with a childhood, elementary school, middle school, high school friend, Adrian C. We rented our first townhouse up on Tudor Square, up behind Westminster Canterbury. And then I first got my very own place in the fall of 2001, actually right after 9/11. And it was a process of leaving and then coming back home for a while. And then I moved to Texas and then I came back home for a while. And then I got my own place.
Because you're also very tight with your parents
Yes.
and your family.
Yes. And I was a later bloomer. I was a very early start in elementary school. I was 4 when I started elementary school, started kindergarten. And I didn't really feel that delay as much as I realized until later on in life. So it kind of took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. And I wasn't ready to get my driver's license right away. It took me another extra year to kind of feel like I was ready to do that. And, but I got my own space, South Kent Street in 2001.
I remember it well.
My rent was $445 for a 2-bedroom, 2-story, all hardwood floor,
Put a marble on the floor, it might go sideways.
For sure. It was extremely unlevel. But I never went back after that. At that point, then I got married and we bought our first house and we had the kids and then divorced and, all of that took place. But
now here they are. And now they're like, I've got to find my own space.
Yes. And they are moving out this weekend. I am both terrified and excited. I am heartbroken and yet I'm relieved. It's the strangest feeling.
Yeah.
They've been my entire life.
Yeah.
Everything I've done has been to just take care of them.
Yeah. And my story is kind of the same, but not single parent related, but they went to college. So there's the first one that goes to college, but he ended up going to college here in town at Shenandoah.
Right.
And did that during COVID, was his move-in into his freshman dorm, which was the weirdest experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
So he still called us like every other day.
It's going to be
during
interesting.
COVID, there is like still this whole bond of like, he came home because he didn't want to be quarantined in school and ultimately gave us all COVID because he flew the coop before school quarantined him and then showed up that year of like fall of 2020.
Yeah.
And so we never truly felt like he was out of the nest when that happened. And then our other one, younger one, Pierce, he now is a rising senior into Marist University in upstate New York. So we have more of the empty nest syndrome because of him.
See, mine are moving out at the exact same time.
Yeah. And so you combine that with now us because he is now a rising senior and Tyson now lives in New York where we're really now over the last 6 months feeling the empty
They're
nest
totally gone.
vibe.
Yeah.
And so him being home for summer, we're going to move him, pack him up, get him up to New York in just a couple weeks. Then we're going to be like, what do we do?
Yeah.
So as parents.
And do we still like each other?
Right. That's
because I know that's a big thing.
Because there's a big deal.
There's no more buffer. There's nothing to distract you.
Do us husband and wife like each other, but then us kids and parents, like there's now the more of a buffer.
Yeah.
And they're still, like you said, needy, still wanting us to pay things, still. I'm not going to air all of our family dirty laundry out there, but the needs that come across our text threads of, hey, here's this, or here's a receipt. Literally just happened yesterday of a receipt that came in, and those receipts and bills keep getting higher and higher the older they get, of the expectations of, hey, mommy, daddy, can you pay for these things? Or I'm expecting, or I'm hoping you can pay for these things. It doesn't go away. Just try to pull the plug on just getting them off our cell phone plan.
Christian's on his dad's.
Okay.
Gabriel is on mine and pays he's been paying his part of the cell phone bill for a long time. But when Christian got his driver's license and bought his first vehicle, from jump, he paid for the truck.
Yeah.
He paid for all the stuff at the DMV. He paid for his insurance from the very beginning. Like, I was not a part of that equation at all. And so
that's good.
They've kind of just started off that way. This is a little different. I am helping them with startup costs for this new place. They've got an amount that they know is theirs to use. And then.
So they're living together.
They're living together. Okay. They got an apartment up kind of across from McDonald's there near Hanley.
Nice.
And they got a crazy unicorn of a deal. I'm not kidding. It's
Okay.
unheard of to get a 2-bedroom apartment for this price in town.
Yeah.
And Gabe will be able to walk to work.
See
and
what happens.
Christian,
Yeah. So we're coming at it obviously from the parents' perspectives, but you're going back to your story of as a 21, 22-year-old single female, like, how did you feel? It was independence.
Well, I mean, my
it was
parents
excitement.
were, I think, terrified for where I was because I was located on South Kent Street.
Mm-hmm.
Kent Street at the time was at 30,
whatever,
28 years ago.
Near the Patsy Cline.
Right across the street, basically, from Patsy Cline's house.
Yep.
And sketchy. Definitely a sketchy area of town for your young daughter to just decide but I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And
so you got your independence and you felt free and you felt,
I was working at Stephen City at Roma at the time. I was driving to Stephen City, working there. And Ed Shoup was my landlord. He just loved me. He would invite me to his annual family picnics, and great landlord.
Yeah.
And
I guess it kind of just depends on where each individual young adult is in their life's maturity.
Yeah.
I think to myself when I went to college as at that time 17-year-old, and my parents just dropped me off in like the school cafeteria because that was the time of day they left me, and
they didn't help you get settled in your room?
No, it's because I went early for sports, and so there wasn't room.
Right.
Literally, the first night we all had to stay in a hotel room because the dorms weren't ready, and so it was a whole convoluted. Like I had to do it on my own, and I just remember like my dad was like, "Okay, it's time to go," and he like shuttled her off, and she starts they sprint to the door while their backs are to me, and she's probably just bawling.
Tracy said when she dropped Noel, my sister dropped my nephew off at Virginia Tech. She said I literally bawled my eyes out, uncontrollable sobs the entire ride back from Virginia Tech.
Oh,
4 hours.
Yeah,
and I think I'm going to be a puddle for the next couple of weeks. I think it's going to be a huge adjustment.
'Tis the season for many people watching and listening. School's almost ready to start. There's going to be a lot of these conversations and getting people ready to go and launch, whether it's a freshman in a school or a senior who might have just graduated or somebody who's just graduated high school and is looking for a career. You name it. There's
it's happening.
A lot of these conversations happening. So what tips? What strategies?
No. I mean, they have not packed a dang thing. Their rooms are still destroyed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now would be the time to go through your clothes, figure out what you want to keep and take with you, what you don't.
Right.
I'll wash it all for you.
Right.
Take it to Goodwill, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Go through your rooms with trash bags. Now's the time. Clean out any to-go contain, because God knows they're in there.
Yeah.
And go ahead and wash your sheets. Let's get stuff like trinkets and fishing stuff and stuff packed up. And
so what you're saying is a
they're
little
not
bit
doing
of
any of that.
forethought and just kind of project management skills
Yes.
that a lot of
Prep
dudes don't have.
Well, and they're like, no, Mom, the best way to do it is just to go through there, go ahead and move out what we're going to take, and then clean up the rest later. And I'm like,
And that's the problem. So
this
that's
is
a tip
where
right there.
it's going to be real dicey
They'll
for
just
Mom.
leave all their stuff.
And I've
they don't
already
want
told
behind.
them, this is not how this is going to roll.
Right.
You are
Be
coming
careful.
back
Yeah.
to clean up your crap.
Yeah. So here's the rest of that story. That happened to us too. So I lived that lesson where going to Shenandoah University, you think that your true home is still home. And then eventually it kind of migrates into an actual house in Winchester instead of being on campus, then now migrates into New York City. And there has never been the time to come back through our house and be like, I'm going to purge the rest of my stuff. No, it was a slippery slope. So if we held on fast earlier on in life, when he was truly moving out and we recognized that move out time, we'd be better off. Instead, we got stuck with a lot of stuff that he claims he doesn't want to get rid of, but yet we're the storage unit.
And I mean, within reason, there was a period of time where I still had stuff at my mom and dad's, and she had little boxes of sentimental things that, I had done in school. I mean, I understand that this is a process.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady friend her family rule of thumb was, until you have a garage of your own, you may keep a certain amount of storage bins in ours. And she was like a true home organization expert, and she had it all.
We've done the same thing.
Yes.
So
my issue is I do not have a garage.
Yeah.
So it's going to be probably in the basement somewhere, some of their stuff, but they're taking I'm giving them my current living room furniture because they've destroyed it
Sure.
over the last 12 years. Take it, go.
Take it. Yep.
Godspeed.
Yep.
It's yours.
Yep.
And then I needed a new sectional anyway. So that's kind of been on the back burner that I wanted to do. So they're taking that. And
so there's tip number 2 right there. Just find
What-
the things in
can
your
I-
house that you don't have to pay for. They're already there. That
They may
you
not
can-
be the
you can
best,
part with.
but they can use. Their
Rugs,
dad gave them a ton of
chairs.
kitchen stuff.
Yep.
So they're set up, as far as I know, with cups, plates, bowls, cookware, all that stuff. They've got their own beds. They've got their dressers. They've got their computer chairs. They've got TVs. Christian's got copious amounts of fishing gear.
So you're getting stuff set up. That's good. But that's honestly what it is. It's just set them up for success. Try to do it as inexpensive as possible.
And I'm like, okay, clean the stuff before you take it over.
Good luck with that.
I'm going to give them a bunch of, I've got a little care package in the corner of the dining room with like
Perfect.
wipes and trash bags, and I need to get that all done. And here,
but we did the same thing. We went to Costco and bought those handful of those big black crates with yellow lids.
Yep.
And we declared, I can't remember how many we got, 8. We're willing to store 8 of these things in our house for you. Anything that doesn't fit, it's going to go away.
Yep.
And we asked multiple times in the visits that he made back to the house, let's take a couple hours and go through this. Guy, too busy, don't want to deal with it, head in the sand.
I mean,
we did
I don't like going through my stuff either.
It's no fun.
No fun.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking like stuff from like 2nd and 3rd grade, that he didn't want to part with. That was some ribbon that he won for some award.
Yes.
Like, all right, fine. It's all going to go in like Ziploc baggies in this big black bin. You can sort through it when you have arrived in life and have your own place that can fit these things.
The other thing Christian learned today is he's putting the electricity in his own name. So he called to transfer the electricity from the landlord's account to his. And because he's young, he has not established significant credit.
No
he doesn't
credit.
have any debt. He doesn't have bad credit. He doesn't have any credit.
Yeah.
So he had to pay a higher deposit to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Mom, this is stupid. He said, if I had good credit, I could have given them my credit card over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But because I don't have good credit, I have to drive cash or a check in person. He said, I hate the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, welcome to the shit show. Like, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
He could have given them his debit card over the phone where the money, and so he drove all the way down to the Shenandoah Valley Electric Cooperative this afternoon and handed them $340 cash.
Same thing with water and sewer. I mean,
the water and sewer they'll split.
Okay.
Because there's a department down below them that they split, and they just give it to their landlord.
Yeah.
And then they had to turn on the gas bill.
But
as
I get
well.
that. That part of it is tough. So as parents, we can and should help. At least be like a co-signer if that's the case, if you're willing to, because like there's no tenants and there's all these other people that are just out there to get them started with no credit, with no real true work history, or they might have a job but then they don't have the past experience of paying bills. It's tough. People are scared to.
And neither one of them have a
risk out
credit
there
card,
on-
and Christian
on people
doesn't
like
want a
that.
credit card. He uses a debit card for everything,
Yeah.
and but. Then this week we also discussed he wants to start investing, and we also discussed the importance of an emergency fund is way more important than investments right now. For his age, he needs to have a certain amount of months saved up for if something hits the fan and he's got a major car repair, or he's got he's got a slow month at work, or what have you. And so just
but now
like little fledglings.
But now the other thing is that now they're going to be just working amongst themselves as brothers, or
they're already
for
arguing
my
over
sons,
finances.
They're talking with their roommates and how do you handle those finances, and who's going to be the one that pays the bill and dumping money into somebody's account to do those things, and how are you going to distribute it equally?
And they're so
many
opposite when the way they look at money. I think your kids probably are too.
Yeah.
And I've got one that's extremely responsible, budgets, knows when he can't spend, knows when he can. And I've got the other one that's just willy-nilly, zero impulse control.
Yep.
I want it. I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get it. Yeah. So
it's going to
now
be
they're living
very
with each other, and
interesting.
we'll see what happens. And those are the life skills and life decisions that as a young adult you got to go through and figure out. And there you go. But from a parenting perspective, just turn the page a bit more. I mean, how do you navigate, and you're going to get there, but now they're out of the house. How do you navigate the parenting and the
What the
coaching
relationship is going to
and the
look like.
mentoring and all those things? Because for us, it's still a little challenging to figure out like how you give advice and what you tell them they should do versus just sitting back and letting them watch and letting them do it themselves. That's the skill I haven't gotten to yet.
I don't know that any of us have.
Yeah.
I mean, even my sister, who's, Noel is married and lives in Detroit, and she's had to go through the transition this past year of, him falling in love with this girl and her becoming the person that Noel talks to now rather than calling Tracy, because Tracy for the longest time was the woman in his life.
Sure.
And they would unpack the day, and that doesn't happen as often as it used to. And, so... And then, just 2 days ago, Gabe told me on the front porch, he's like, Mom, I just want you to know you're going to be welcome to stop by anytime.
Oh, that's nice.
He said, but not unannounced. I'm like, don't worry. For both of our benefits, I will not stop by unannounced.
You mean at 11:30 at night, I'm not going to be just knocking on the door and say, hey, what's going on in here? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, and I think there's a washer and dryer. I'm not 100% sure. So there's a very good chance they might be back home doing laundry.
Yeah, that'll be a thing.
Hopefully they'll actually do that. I'd rather them come home and do laundry than not do laundry, because there's also that possibility.
Well,
at least with one of them.
They're out of your house. If that's the case, I mean, good luck in navigating life and jobs when you're smelly. Who knows?
One of them's managing. Anyway.
Well, so Eric and I had a chat with one of our younger friends last week, even just had coffee and hanging out. And she has like a 3, maybe 4-year-old. And her husband were navigating the parenting styles. And she was the mom who was saying, no, I need you to do this. You need to get dressed. You need to, eat your food and breakfast and get ready for school. And she left for the couple days to see, for her job. And we saw her, and she was away from her family. The husband was left home and was like, I just couldn't negotiate with her. She didn't want to go to school today, so she's still home. And it was just like a whole complete opposite parenting strategy of, I'm going to negotiate and just talk through with a 4-year-old what to do. And the mom was like, freak, how can you let this happen? No. And so I had to explain to her, I was like, yeah, we've experienced over the years that there's different parenting strategies. For the younger ones, they need to be more controlled and told what to do, and lots of structure and rules. Now that they get older, maybe his parenting strategy will come more handy, because you can't be bossing a 19-year-old man cub around what to do. So like we told her, I was like, hold on to his strategy, and you can, morph into his mold later in life for your 16-year-old crazy teenage girl. And he might need to morph into your parenting strategy so you can actually navigate the day with a crazy 4-year-old who is trying to say, I don't want to go to school today.
Who wants to be the boss.
Who wants to be the boss. Yeah. So it was just that listening to that perspective puts what we're talking about into even more perspective of how do you navigate that empty nest concept.
This might be one of the toughest seasons I've ever faced as a mom.
Yeah.
For sure. And there's been a lot of tough seasons, but this is so very foreign.
It's different.
Yeah.
From talking to others, and feel free to chime in if you're older than us, it does get better, right? They can
I don't know.
work things out on their own, and they can become more of your friend, and
I'm hoping that that
less of a parent-child relationship
with this new breath of air into the space. I'm hoping that I mean, my boys and I are extremely bonded, for sure. We've been the three of us forever. And so I don't doubt that the closeness, I don't think that will go away. I'm hoping that it will just change into something really sweet.
Yeah.
And that when they are home hanging out with me for dinner, they want to be there.
Yep.
And yet they also know that they are excited to leave to go back to their own space.
Yep.
And so
it happens.
Yeah.
Again, everyone has their own individual personality. Even when you just said your two have complete different financial, navigating personalities. Same with mine too. Same, Tyson, our oldest, will call us every day. Pierce, he could go a month without talking to us, but do they still love us the same? Sure. But do they show it?
But
like
their
that
needs
way?
are
It's
different.
Different needs.
Yeah.
So just have to work through those
gonna
things.
be interesting.
So good luck. We'll
Thanks.
be thinking about you this week, and go ahead and just tell them, just watch out for the things they leave behind, because it might disappear. You never know. Like
I don't know how many countless Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and Pokemon cards I'm going to find shoved in floorboards.
Oh.
I mean, it's going to be that kind of
Those
stuff.
can be valuable. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, good luck to all of what you're going through and anybody else going through the same things right now. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So post message on Facebook, Instagram. Let us know how you navigate the empty nest, because we're wrestling through it right here and now. Topic of the day is what that is for us right now. So thanks for sharing.
My pleasure. I think.
Upcoming
Ask me
events.
next week.
Yeah, exactly. So upcoming events, I was looking and noticing that I totally didn't see this until just today, that the Frederick County Fair is going on this week.
Right now.
So go check that out, because that's at Frederick County Fairgrounds up there in Clearbrook. Lots of fun activities, things to do up there. Goes through, I think it just goes through Saturday, through August 1st.
Okay.
So not on Sunday. Then there's also, I'm going to try to remember what was coming up.
The yard crawl.
It was West Oaks.
Oh, Peaches and Beaches.
Yeah, Peaches and Beaches. Again, we haven't talked about West Oaks in a long time, but
They
every
do so
week
much
there's something
stuff.
going on.
Yeah.
And so this one is an interesting one that they're just, I don't know, picking a theme. Peaches and Beaches rhyme. So let's just do it.
And it's peach season.
And it's peach season, and it's beach season for all that matters.
Yeah.
So you get peach-themed drinks and treats, and a beachy twist on farm fun is what they're calling it.
Okay.
So live music, local vendors, all that's happening from 11 to 5 o'clock this Saturday at West Oaks. And then next week is the Route 11 Yard Crawl. So we've talked about this maybe a year ago, or maybe less. I can't remember how often they do this. Definitely once a year, maybe twice. They do an entire yard sale crawl up and down
Over
Route
40
11.
miles, right?
Over 40 miles from Stephen City to
It
Newmarket.
just sounds like a nightmare.
Like
so
literally,
not
it's
my
going to
cup of
be. It's
tea.
going to be a crawl.
I know so many people just think it's like the best thing ever.
You
could not pay me
You could find all kinds of treasures
so many treasures.
in any one of those stops that you go to up and down Route 11.
One man's trash.
Hey, there it is. Again, not my thing either, but figure we'd talk about it because that's a fascinating thing that happens in the Shenandoah Valley each and every year. So
I'm sure there is some amazing stuff that can be found.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Antiques and old, like just really cool stuff.
But if it's going to be nice, like
and
a
if
nice
you're like
day,
having if you have like children that need outside play toys and things like that, I can see why it would be a really great option for
sure.
what, even if you've got kids moving out. I mean, go back to that. It's another great. Go find
get yourself
the stuff.
Get yourself
Go
a
get a
little
recliner.
a dresser or something
Yeah.
that you need, and
Yep.
save some money. That would be the location
Yeah.
for it right there. So
Yeah.
a couple of those things we'll post on our show notes as well, along with that extra special podcast I listen to. I'll put that out there if you guys are really nerdy and want to hear what they're talking about in space for data centers. There you
It
go.
wasn't very nice.
Yeah, I know. Well, and if you want to submit your feedback and thoughts about Empty Nest, go for it. So we were last episode, we did say that we're going to have guests. We had to postpone those guests until next episode. Be on the lookout for, again, we highlighted it as a special industry that we haven't talked about yet. And I think it's going to be relevant for the upcoming school year.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a chance to talk to a couple ladies who have some things to say about I'll throw the word therapy out there.
Okay.
So just mental health. That might be a good opportunity for you to glean on what they have to say. So check out next episode in a couple weeks. So until next time, you might be sitting here on this blue couch. Let us know if you want to be a part of the show. So till next time.
Think
Think
iconic.
iconic.